All right, and we are live. At least so it appears. What's up, everyone? How are we all doing? Excuse me for that. Should not eat spicy food before I start podcasting. I apologize. I'm probably going to be coughing for a little bit. But, all right, so we are live, and we're going to have us a little podcast. We're going to call in Rick Wylder. As you can see, it's just me right now. For those who are watching, if you're listening, you can't see what I'm doing, but it's just me because Reese is late. So hopefully he still makes it here. I had to start without him for the moment. So we're going to go ahead and get a call in to, let's see here. Make sure I got it all set up. And it's going to be a little bit of a Jimmy rig, so I apologize if we have bad quality. But we're going to make a call into someone who is a former professional motocross racer, someone who has been running events for over a decade out at Portland International Raceway, known to all of us racers as Thursday Night Motocross. And someone who, man, I don't envy his job. As a fellow promoter who puts on races, we'll have maybe 2 a month on a busy month. He does it every week with him and his brother Ron for 22, 23 rounds every year. That adds up to a lot of events. So, looking forward to talking to him. We're going to kind of pick his brain on maybe where things are going with the whole Moto community right now. And, try to get his 2 cents, and maybe he can throw some ideas what he's got going for Thursday Night Motocross this year. And, there's some things I know I can't say yet, but hopefully he can tell us some fun stuff. And, of course, we're going to talk to him about pit bikes because we need pit bikes at PIR. So, we're going to dial him up here. Just give me one moment. Get this whole thing in place. This is the most redneck way to do call-ins on a podcast, but you know what? My little doohickey that I got to do it broke, and Amazon has told us they are 6 weeks out, or 6 weeks out, so apparently that's not happening. And I could probably Jimmy rig a different way, but not the best at Jimmy rigging. So, we're going to do this the redneck way. So bear with us if we have a few audio dropouts. I'll do my best to keep it rolling, and hopefully Reese shows up soon. We can talk to him. But for now, without further ado, let's call the man, the myth, the legend, Rick Wylder.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Rick. How's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Well, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. A little bit of a Jimmy rigging system to get the phone in to work, but I think we got it here. So, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Not too bad. So, hang on one moment. I gotta just adjust something here. Just bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, we're good to go now. So, Rick, I gotta start off with this. Other than, I'd like to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this podcast with us. It's unfortunate we can't have you here in person, but maybe again someday. But can we jump right into it? It's sad that we didn't have our Thursday Night Motocross opener. It feels weird.
Not. April 16th came and went, and like everybody else, pal, we just had to stand by the wayside and hope for everybody's health and return to some kind of normalcy at some point. The track was ready, we were ready, you're excited, fired up, ready to go, and it's just one thing led to another, and we are where we are.
Yeah, there's really nothing we can do about it. It just felt kind of weird. We've had the good weather. I mean, if under different circumstances, it would have been a great opener.
Yeah, it's funny, Ron and I were talking the other night, in the opener, there's been evenings, and some of the riders can remember, where we sat at home because we called for rain out because it was so bad and leading up to it and it was going to get worse, and we'd sit at home and we'd watch it rain, go, okay, we made the right decision. And this time we sat at home going, probably open another bottle of wine because it's sunny and nice and nobody's riding. So it's one of those fluke things. And again, I just hope everybody's happy and healthy, and we can get back to normalcy sometime soon.
Oh, I'd like that more than anything, but we're kind of in a weird spot. We've never really been here before. There's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know when we can go back to normal. Is there going to be a normal? When is there going to be events? It seems it's really kind of an awkward position. Like, we just don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's the same for you, unless you got some insight that I don't. But it seems like everyone is just kind of sitting in a bunch of uncertainty.
Yeah, we're a little bit different than the other tracks in here because we're tied into the city, and so what happens is the park bureau sort of dictates, kind of what happens inside PIR, which is a little bit different than having private land ownership. But the criteria is still kind of the same. When the governor opens things up, that's when we get to go. But even though he or she, depending where you're at, the governor opens things up, our city stuff is a little bit slower because there's a little bit more caution behind the usage groups. So because there's so many other usage groups inside of PIR that we have to take into consideration, that. And so there's days when it sucks because of that, and there's days when it's great because of that. So it's just kind of in the middle. So we're just playing it by ear. I think I was telling you a little bit, Ron and I have been working pretty hard at trying to be, proactive as possible and give the city some different scenarios, on maybe how we can open sooner. And still follow a lot of the criteria, from everything from, riders only and no spectators to, rider plus the guardian, or maybe even 1 week where it's all little bikes and 125s, the following week it's big bikes. I mean, there's a number of things that we've written up that we're looking at and presenting and talking through, and painting a red X everywhere. Whatever we think we can do or to get away with, it's just a matter of the process. So it's really no fun. Like you said, we've never ever been here as long as I've been alive, and I'm probably 310 years old. So just one of those things where you just got to kind of wing it and see where we go.
Yeah.
I don't have any. To your point, I don't have any insight other than what I'm just sharing with you now. We're trying to be proactive in putting together a plan, but unfortunately, motocross isn't on the governor's top list of things to release.
So, yeah, I know we're in the big scheme of things. Us racing dirt bikes is not really the biggest priority, but that's what the show's about. That's what we talk about. So, it's what we're going to talk about. Do you feel?
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, you and I are a little biased because we're moto guys, right? So we know there's lots of families out there. There's lots of kids out there with, jonesing to come out and ride and do something different, be part of a community. And so I'm a little biased, and I think that, the way we're set up as a motocross community, there's spacing in the way you park, there's spacing in the way you pit, there's spacing in the way we stage. And, there's some things that we can do and get the kids, someplace to go have some fun and creativity and, see some smiles again,
Yeah, do you feel like, because you do have a unique situation where your track is within a major city park, do you feel like that could possibly slow down, like, the opening, or is it really unsure at this point?
Yeah, to my earlier point, I think we're kind of subject to whatever, the governor, I don't know what her plans are, but it sounds like she's going to try and get, mainstream business open before sort of the ancillary programs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from the system there, Justin. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a little bit of a finicky setup I have right now. I'm sorry. I'll try to adjust a little bit of it.
But so we're talking not every day, but pretty much 3 or 4 days a week on what we can do, where we can go, if anything. Ron and I and the crew, we've had some supporters, guys on the team come out and help us get the track prepared and ready to go and all beautified and stuff. And we're ready to roll. It's just a matter of when we get to go. And another thing is the city of Portland, inside PIR, nothing is going on. So it's not not cars, not police officers training, not motorcycles, not tiddlywinks, nothing. It's just absolutely empty. So I think I've made a couple postings the last couple of weeks of just, social spacing, and that's just me inside the park by myself. So it's really weird. It's very eerie.
It's honestly, it's eerie going through some of these towns, especially when there's normally rush hour traffic, and kind of seeing stuff. It's different. It's different everywhere. It's just weird. It's just, we've never had anything like this. Oh, look, and Reese is here. Hi, Reese. So, I mean, let's just say, I try to think on the positive side of all this. Let's just say we get back to this pretty quickly. Okay? I mean, I know Washington, they told us May 5th. Is it the same for Oregon? I don't remember. That they were going to, relook at things?
Yeah, so we just, last Friday was just not a good day for Ron. We had a tough day because we were pretty excited to be opening on May 7th, and we got a phone call that said that the governor said extend that closure all the way till June 1. Ooh. So right now, our official opening is June 11th.
Okay.
And that's why we're doing, which is, to me, is crazy because it's a month and a half away still, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing everything we can to put together plays or ideas that might play into being able to open early. And again, it's, if we can, the community's going to have to help us by being patient. Okay, if we do a rider only plus guardian, or some version of something just to get going, then we'll have to just do that until we get full release, and then we won't miss a beat on that because we're already ready for full release. But it's just a matter of what we get to do. I think anybody at this point, everybody I'm talking to, Justin, they'd say, "Well, I'll park 10 feet apart. I'll not go near anybody. Just let me race." So, I think we're going to get great community support if we ever get to open the doors. So.
Oh, I think you'll have an amazing support. Once it's safe, once there's approval, I think you'll have a ton of support. If we have to wait, let's say we have to wait till June, okay? Are you basically just going to run the show like normal with just fewer rounds and just say for this year that's just how it is?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We're looking at, again, we've never been in this position, so we're looking at everything. We're looking at taking everything that we do that's unique, the 50-50, the High Five 65, the Happy, all those little T-shirt and discount event nights that we do, and making them almost like week after week after week, and try and get that in there. We're asking about an extension for 2 weeks into October. Don't know that we'll get that, but we're trying to make the season as long as we can without riding in the mud, so to speak, in the cold weather, right? So we're not going to be able to get, I think I know where you're going. We're not going to be able to get weekends because the moment that the track opens for business, there's going to be a landslide of all these users who are now moving their dates too. One of the things that we did lose, that we got back anyway, was the August date for the IndyCar Series. They've moved their event out now, so we picked that Thursday back up. So we'll reflect all that stuff on our schedule on the website once we get confirmation on when we get to open. But our intent is to run everything like normal, and maybe pump it up a little bit and have some more fun and give away some more stuff. And our sponsors have been phenomenal on what do you need, what can we do. Every one of them is great. So we're just waiting to get the green light.
Oh, I hear you. Well, I think you'll have a lot of support once you do open. I know a lot of riders are jonesing to go race, especially all this good weather we've been having right now. People want to ride. People want to race. And I know we're going through this pandemic right now, but people want to go ride their dirt bike. And it seems, at least the people I know, that's their focus. Like, okay, when can we ride?
Yeah, we're a social culture, right? So when someone says you can't, we always go, "Oh, really?" But in this example, I think up until now anyway, it's been wise of us to take the slower approach because when people are dying, that's a little bit of a different program than they got a cold and they don't feel good. I mean, so you got to pay attention to that. So it's not always popular, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to see. Now, I did a little intro for you where I don't know if you were listening, but I mentioned that you were a former professional motocross racer, and you're a guy I respect because you have to do a lot of events in a single year. You and Ron have more rounds than any other series in the Pacific Northwest. So you guys get a level of respect from me to be able to pull that off because I know how stressful it can get. I can only imagine what it's like to do points for that many rounds. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. What made you guys like want to do? And which, hey, look on the bright side. If you guys lose 10 rounds, you still got as many or more rounds in most series. But I mean, have you guys ever thought maybe we should just do a 7 or 10 round, or what has made you guys want to do so many? Is it just that's what your father had done, and so that you keeping it going, or? I mean, we've talked about this in person, but maybe talk to everyone else here. Like, it's a commitment, and you guys pull it off every year.
Well, thank you. And I mean, to answer your first question, we do it because we love the sport, right? Like, our dad started it, but we really love the sport. We love the people. We love the community, and we try to do everything we can to give back to the sport. And part of giving back is being open and being able to race. That's why we tried to maintain pricing that's 10 years old. I mean, not race prices or shorten things. I mean, we hear it when we had to cut laps because of the noise curfew. But, we love the sport, and we're very, very fortunate to have an unbelievable crew. I mean, our staff's been with us for, 15, 20 years. We've had Dave Eakins for 30-plus years. Kathy and Lyndon, all the people in the booth there, I mean, they understand the business very well, our model. And so for Ron and I, yeah, it's stressful, but if we didn't like it, we wouldn't do it. And it's nice because you can, as you can come in there and at 4 o'clock or whatever, run your motos and go home and be home by 9:30, depending which moto you are, and you can still watch Dance Through the Stars. Just, the points thing, gets, but so what we're doing, the points thing is we're going to keep doing that, but we're going to bring in other things. We're looking at reintroducing the Red Bull Dirty Dozen series next year, 2021. And that's not because this year was cut short, it's because that was the best time to reintroduce that. And that's, a separate race within a series. We're talking about, a Northside Ford Challenge, So there's other things to try and, get people jazzed up to keep coming back. It's not just that long point season. Mm-hmm. There's other little things that we're doing to try and keep that energy up and that community excited about, coming out and going dirt bike riding and hanging out with their friends.
You do have definitely a convenience factor because for me, in the Vancouver area, I just have to hop over the bridge. You guys are right there. You're easy to get to from a variety of directions. And yeah, you can work a good chunk of the day and then dip out, do some motos, and still get back. Your program runs quickly. And so it's not like a Saturday event where it's your whole day commitment. It's actually fairly convenient to get out there and get some racing done, and you still have other chunks of the day to do other stuff. So location, how you guys run the show, everything's quick, get her done. It goes smooth, and the fact you can fit in as many motos as you do in that night is impressive. So it is very convenient. I think that definitely will help. Because try to run a 20-round series that are Sunday events might be a little tougher.
Yeah, no, it is. My hat's off to those guys at Washougal and Albany and Mountain View that have weekends. I know there's people who want to go ride there that maybe not have 6 or 8 or 10 hours to go do that in. And I used to be one of those guys, right? When I was racing, we'd go there, would be all day or all weekend, and I get it, and I loved it. It was fun. But I mean, these days now, even with Supercross, that whole program's, half the speed, or not half the speed, half the time than an all-day Sunday race, right, or Saturday race. So we're very fortunate. I mean, we're very, very fortunate. Part of that reason why we want to run so many rounds because when we have the weather, we want to enjoy it. We have easy access to it from the Washington side or the Oregon side. And one of the things I hear from the guys from California is like, man, I went out and raced, I didn't even have to wash my bike. And I was home having a beer at 10:15 or whatever they do. I mean, so the guys that come up from out of state that all the feedback's always really great. It's easy to get to, parking's easy, blah blah blah. So it's nice, and our community is a big part of our life, Justin. I mean, we're very blessed to have the community of riders and families and sponsors that we have. And so, if our only job is to keep the track open and nice, that's a pretty easy one for us to do. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, hopefully we can get back to racing here, but we'll wait and see. Is there anything that you could maybe leak to people? Anything new this year, whether that be to the facility or any fun track changes, anything? I know some stuff stays hush hush, but anything you could maybe leak out to people? Or do we just have to sit and wait?
I don't know that there's anything like real significant. I mean, Dave is actually out there today doing some work, and we're trying to make some changes to the track. And as everybody knows, we have a space limitation inside that fence, so we try and do a layout that's fair and equitable for all the riders. We try to make it so that it's challenging in some areas and maybe a little bit of rest in others. But there's that. We're gonna work a little harder on the caution boxes. We're going to build up some of those and make them bigger. And our goal is to try to, over on Lampier's Leap, our goal is to try and have a fighter and a medic in that station, so up above everybody. And it's off the track a little bit so we can see better peripheral. We're looking at adding another box at the big barrel turn. Maybe some paint, some new banners. We have some new sponsors coming on board we're excited about. Things like that. Red Bull's back, Fly's back. We have Volusia back. We have VP FMF. This year we're going to have Johnny Boy Products is going to come on board. We have a new company called Flow Vision. Some of you guys out there have used that product. I love it. It's a goggle company. These guys are mom and pop, and they're well funded. They're great people. They get a great product. They also have cool sunglasses. So they're on board with us, and I'm just excited to get going and get back to, I mean, if you look at it, motocross is what you want to do. It's not what you have to do. So 9 times out of 10, when someone shows up, they're happy to be there. They're not being forced to go, do their schoolwork or do their job. They're going to have a good time, and so we're very fortunate to get to enjoy that kind of demographic.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that 110%. And
now, if you look at Ron and my face at the end of the year, it might be a little different. We might be like, oh, really? Maybe we could take a vacation there, who knows? But no, we love it. We love it, or we wouldn't do it.
Well, that's why I say I'm impressed as someone who's also ran a lot of races. I know it can wear you out. Just even if everything goes well, there's a lot of running around. There's back and forth to check on this to make sure that's good. It's like, at least for me, like, you don't want to micromanage, but you end up micromanaging a lot of things and just making sure, like, there's a lot that goes into making sure that an event goes down smoothly, and it can wear you out. And you guys, week in, week out, get that going. That's you gotta get some respect, because there's a lot that goes into it, and you guys keep the park looking clean.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot that we do, and I'll tell you what, in all honesty, my Friday mornings are pretty much shot until about 11. I'm wiped out, but it's again, you get all jazzed up again by the time the weekend rolls around. Let's go do it again. So it's fun. It's rewarding. You get to shout out to the Danny Davies group and the Cordell brothers. I mean, those guys get all fired up, and they're always texting me like, "Let's go racing. Let's go have some fun." And so that's the reasons why we do that. It's just you get surrounded by people that want to be there, that want to help, that want to grab a broom or a shovel or whatever they can do to help make that more fun for everybody. And we're very lucky, very, very lucky. So
now let's switch it up just like a gear here, and a little something fun. Are you going to have a Top Gun team again?
A Top Gun team?
And if so, are you guys going to go get the championship this year?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, we will probably have a Top Gun team. We're gonna Jeffrey Hurlings, Tomac. We have all those guys signed up to go already. So we're gonna have we're gonna have 14 pros, and they're all gonna be world class. No, I'm kidding, but it's going to take something like that to beat motorsport. They have a great program. They do a good job top to bottom. They've got a bigger budget than most people, and they have a good reach. Our program is all about having a great time with good people, being competitive, and my criteria is just don't quit. If you're gonna go race, don't quit. Finish the race. Give it your best. If you get first or 15th, I don't care. Just go give it your best, and we'll go have a hamburger and a Red Bull, right? So that's kind of a roundabout question or a roundabout answer, but I would say we're 90% sure we will. It just depends on, what happens with the season and what we get to do and not do. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot's up in the air.
Just so you know, that 4-day weekend is more work for Ron and I than 2 months at TNMX. That is a long, 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 hard weekend.
Yeah, and I've had a team for 2 years in a row now, and our team's small. You guys put on quite the crew over there, but our team's pretty small, and it's still a lot of work. You get the team T-shirts made. You got to check on everybody, and arrange the pits. Like,
who makes your shirts, Justin?
Well, I make the shirts, but it's still I got to make the shirts. Just saying, it takes work to get all that done.
If it's any consolation, Rick, he doesn't even pay for our entry fees. It's ridiculous.
Hey, it's this Team Moto Monday. We don't really have a budget.
Yeah.
The marketing dollars that we get from this podcast doesn't really support a Top Gun team.
Yeah.
But
well, it does keep Ron and I young. I mean, we like hanging around the kids, the middle-aged guys, the older guys sometimes. But I mean, it's a great sport. And I think just 2 years ago, we were talking to Dave Whitcop and Josh Reed. He said, "Hey, I think when they moved Top Gun up farther north, I think I can't remember where it was at, but we said, is this a good year to take the year off and just let's all go camping somewhere instead?" And that was the 1 year we did miss, and I think they came back to Washougal the following year. But that was the first time we missed it in probably 8 or 10 years, I think. I don't know. But I'll tell you, it was nice having my feet up, looking at the ocean and not, doing all that. So it was fun.
Well, it is kind of stressful. It is a lot of work, but it's also kind of fun. And it is kind of wild to see all those people in one spot.
Yeah.
The whole experience is wild. Seeing the big pro gates, seeing, a lot of people from the different states, and then the teams, the ones that do get along. Then there's maybe a little tension, the ones who don't, because they're close, in points. I don't know. It's just a unique experience. It's fun. We're already planning. I'm pretending like everything's going to smooth out in a couple months. We're going back to normal, and Top Gun's just happening like normal. So we're planning our team. I'm not going to guarantee that we're going to be coming both guns blazing, but we're going to do it. So.
But to your point, it's a fun weekend when, aside from the work and the expense, it's just a fun weekend to be around Moto and be around fun people, and Ted does a pretty good job up there with that format. It's just if you just go up with that in mind, it's a good time.
Yeah, no, it's a good time, man. I'm just itching to go ride my dirt bike at this point. Like, the whole sitting inside looking at dirt bikes is getting old. I'm ready to do some riding.
You can only SC1 and Scotch your frame so much before it loses its luster,
I know. You SC1 your bike, and actually, I need to wash my bike first before I SC1 it.
Oh, Justin, don't tell me that.
But yeah, I'm just itching to go do some more moto. So.
Yeah, I think we all are. It's just a really, really weird time. And my wife Shannon and I drove over to Bend on Friday, Saturday, and it was just really, really weird to see basically the roads empty all the way over there, over the Mount Hood and stuff. And I think it's funny. I was saying, well, maybe they're all out racing, and I don't know yet. So, a guy can wish, right? So, but we'll get there. It's just a matter of when. But we're ready.
Yeah, I think that's the big question everyone has right now. So.
Yeah.
I guess we just have to wait and see. Reese?
Hey, Rick, I got a two-parter for you, buddy. This is Reese here. One, I just want to let you know that I really appreciate what you guys do. Thursday night motocross is a staple in Northwest motocross, man. Like, growing up, coming into the racing / riding MX tracks later in life, not starting out on 50s with my dad yelling at me. It was a staple. Like, all my friends did high school. That was like the spot to go to, man. Thursday night motocross and Friday night drags at PIR. That's what we all did. Like, it's just a good time.
Thanks, Reese. Appreciate it.
I just want to let you know, my very first actual motocross race was Thursday night motocross, the weekend or the week before, the Thursday before the Dream Race in 2014. That was my very first race ever. Gate drop on a 125, my girlfriend's bike, actually. And I was terrified, bro. Terrified. Because Thursday night motocross, just growing up around it and knowing enough people, like, it has some ambiance behind it, right? Like, the track is intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. Like, I was just like, what are we doing? I got talked into it by my buddy, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Because we got to ride these 125s. We're going to go to the Dream Race, Thursday night motocross. That's like the closest thing. And it was awesome because so many people came out. Everybody had their 2 strokes. I look forward to the week before the Dream Race and the anniversary race the most. Because it's rad. Because everybody comes out with their project bikes for test and tune, and like one last chance to go, like, test them out, ride them, shake them down. And it was awesome. But I was so scared, man. I was just like, what are we doing out here, man? Like, I have no idea. No reason to be here. It was rad. And, yeah, I just want to say thank you guys, and I really appreciate what you've been doing. And your prices are killer, man. You buy the membership card, and I've done it the last 3 years in a row. I've been like, I'm not going to buy the membership because I'm not going to be here more than 2 rounds to race. Otherwise, I'm just going to hang out. And every year, it bites me because I go, I should have bought the membership card, because I end up coming back 3, 4, 5 times. It's always one of those things. So I just appreciate that, and I know you guys are spending a lot of money to rent that facility, and coming from the road race side, like, PIR is a really cool facility, and I know you guys have to deal with everything they deal with, and it kind of trickles down. So I really respect the fact that you guys have kept the price point where you had it for the last, I don't know, at least 6 years I've been around. So much respect, because it's hard to do, and I respect that.
Thank you. We, it's your first point. Being a little bit nervous. I think most people that come in for the first time are a little nervous, because if you think about it, it's you're kind of in a fishbowl. Everybody can see you in all parts of the track, right? So if I make a mistake, it's not going to be 2 people seeing me. It's going to be 22 people or 222 or whatever it is, right? Yeah. So I appreciate you doing that. And anybody who shows up that's a little bit uncomfortable, that's why Ron and I like to be available all the time, every Thursday. So we're always floating around for people who want to talk through things or have issues or concerns, or just, having a good time when they let us know. That's great. The price thing, we talked about that for years and years and years. And it's just 2 things happen. One is that, Ron and I came from the sport, so we're destined to give back wherever we can, anytime we can, because the sport was always so good to us when we were growing up as kids. And one of the things we can do is try and help control pricing for people that have other things to go do in life, and that's one of the things that we can do, because Ron and I both have a career outside of motocross. Motocross is our passion, and fortunately both have jobs that are, pretty good to us, and we're able to pass, some of these costs off. We can absorb some of these costs ourselves, and we're not out to, we don't have to live and die on that entry level of the race entry, right? So, I'm not saying it's going to be cheap. Our insurance has gone up astronomical in the last 3 or 4 years from people trying to sue racetrack owners, and you guys have probably heard 100 horror stories from all sorts of tracks, but that's causing insurance policies for all tracks to go way up, and it's out of control, and it puts it in a situation where, after a while we have to pass some of that on. So I think we went from $8 to get into $10 this last year for the first time, and it was tough. We didn't want to do that. It was just one of those deals where we just had to do that. So, but everywhere we can, we're gonna cut people's costs down if we can, and give them more value. And at the end of the day, our goal is to have a great racetrack, a good time, and a good solid community. And the value proposition is in the favor of the rider and the spectator. So that's our goal.
Well, appreciate that, man. And we appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
I was just checking the time. Reese, you were late.
I know.
But
I know, and I apologize, Rick. You're the man, buddy. I don't want to toot your horn too much, but you're the man, buddy. And even when you yelled at me and Justin and a couple of our friends for riding pit bikes in the pits well after hours.
Don't loop me into that. I wasn't.
Oh, you were there. You were there. I think it was your bike ride.
Yeah, I wasn't there though.
You yelled at us,
bike.
and you kind of laid it out, and you're like, "Guys, come on!" And we're like, "I know, man. I'm really sorry." And like, I don't know, just the whole vibe of Thursday night motocross, and
I can get you his autograph if you'd like, Reese.
I know.
Like,
I want to sign jersey.
Do you want his autograph? Like,
no, but I'm just saying, like, what you guys do, and it's just rad, man. Because Thursday night motocross is a staple. I'm just telling you from somebody that's like no affiliation to Moto Monday or Justin or any of this stuff. Like, just growing up around here, like that's the big show, man, for local riding.
Thank you.
Other than if you're racing Pac West or PRO or like one of the series races, like Thursday night moto, it just has a special kind of dare I say ambiance, if you will. Like it you know what I mean? It's different. You guys have a unique situation, the time that you guys ride, the facility, it's killer, man. I love it. And if I don't know, Rick, I'm sure you could probably do a lot of other things with your money and your life and your time, but guys, don't let it go away, because it's a big deal. And a lot of people
we have no intention of letting it go. We just hope the industry is good to us, and the insurance doesn't get out of control, and to get to open the doors. So yeah, we're, like I said, thanks for all the kudos. We're ready to go. We want to do it. So
I'll give
just want to keep making it better everywhere we can.
Justin's laughing at me right now because I'm just trying to blow you guys up, but I'm just saying, like, coming from hanging out with the OMRA crowd and doing the road race stuff, like, and getting to meet some of the people in that club and finding out like granted, it's different circumstances, different insurance policies. I get that. But you guys dealing with the city park being PIR and stuff, like, I don't think people give you guys enough credit for, like, it's not, you guys don't own the track, and it's not your track versus if you were Washougal or Albany, right? Like, it's a different situation, and pulling it off time and time again. And I remember running into you one night with Justin there after the pit bike race, and you telling us about how you guys had to build up the start wall and like do sound deadening and stuff for noise control to meet regulations and all this stuff. And it was, a ton of money out of pocket, and you guys never advertised that, nor did you ask for any donations or say anything about it on social media. It was just kind of, you handled it and nobody skipped a beat. And that's really cool, because a lot of people would have gone out of their way to be like, hey guys, we had to make some updates to the track, or, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be very easy. And if you would have asked, I guarantee you a ton of people would have kicked in, you know what I mean? But you didn't, you made it happen. And that's really cool. I really respect that, because, the stuff is supposed to be fun. And it is expensive.
Thanks, Reese.
So it's cool, man. I respect it.
Thank you.
Well,
that's how we're built, man. We just do everything we can to keep it seamless for the customer.
And Rick, after all those plugs, I do want to sign front number plate for my garage, because I got to beat Justin to the punch, because he's gonna call me out on it if I don't say it.
I can get you an autograph if need be, Reese.
Your piece of work. I should yell at you now for pit bike riding, just in case, right?
By all means, you can yell at him every time you see him, Rick. He probably deserves it.
Well, speaking of that, Rick, I got one other question for you, buddy.
Okay, last question. We got to let him go, because we've already gone past our time.
One more, just a quick one. For Thursday night motocross for the team, and I don't mean to like blow you out here or anything, buddy, but how come you guys don't pick up pro riders? Like, why is that? Or what's your train of thought? Is it just because it's too expensive, or is it you're looking at it as a stepping stone? Like, how come no pro riders? You stop at intermediate for the Thursday night team. That's
a great question, and my answer, I'll tell you my answer, but I don't know if it's good, bad, or different. But so in the beginning, when Ron and I started, we had some pro riders we were helping, and what happens is, we lost track of who we were as a track and a community for about a year and a half, when we were trying to have the fast pros and all the high end profile kids out of the Pacific Northwest. But what happens is you lose focus on the grassroots, which is how we were built and how we will continue to be as a community. We're more interested in the families and the new kids and the amateurs who are going into the ranks. We love watching the pros. it's near and dear to me. A lot of the pros are my friends. I mean, Weston Pike's a friend. Ryan Brees is a friend. Nate Whitlow from the old days is a friend. There's all those guys that went through there that were people that were so fun to be around. But their focus is to earn a living, right? They have to be selfish to go out and train and make money. And where the amateurs and the families that we're surrounded with, our team are just that. They're grassroots. They're having a good time. They try and be competitive, but we don't have any expectations for them to win or show or place. I mean, they just come out and ride and be good people. And the contracts that we have with them all stipulate that. Just be an ambassador of the sport and carry our brand while you do that. So we're surrounded by great families. And there's a lot out there that we don't get a chance to work with, but that's the answer. I mean, there's some pros that I'll help on my own, out of my pocket, but I don't want to tie them to the brand because they need to go out and sell themselves and brand themselves and market themselves and endorse themselves and those kinds of things. And that's just not who we are at Thursday Night Motocross or our community. And it's really not where we're going to go. So that's, we have our pro anniversary race. That's an exciting night for me personally because I love watching those guys and how hard they work, how precise they are, how fast they are. That's a good night, but once a year, and that's about enough for me. So, I'm all about the kids.
That's a solid answer, Rick. And like I said, I didn't mean to come at you with some fire or anything, or I just curious because like you guys always have a Top Gun team and you guys support a lot of people and I know that I've watched riders come through your program that have been on your team for multiple years and made that step from intermediate to then they get picked up by a dealership or whatever once they hit the A class. And I was always curious because, like, granted, you guys put out one of the biggest paying, pro races right before the national. I mean, that's a big deal, and everybody comes to it, and it's awesome. So, like, no discredit. I'm just always curious because, you guys are in a position where you do have a lot of influence, and you can and have set people up for success, if they've gone through your program, which is rad.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. We've been fortunate as a community to see some really good riders come up through the Pacific Northwest. I mean, Levi Kitchen's out, doing pretty well on the amateur national circuit. My stepson Austin Black. I mean, keep an eye for him. He's on fire right now, and he's training with Brock Tickle and Jay Whipple, and he's so you get these kids to come through the system, and I think at some day, I want them to come back and ride the pro anniversary race and show the out-of-towners just how it's really done because it's a local knowledge and a local kid. The crowd will get behind it. And so when that happens, those days will be pretty exciting I think for all of us, especially me, though. But so the system seems to work. But again, our goal is not to make anybody a pro. Our goal is just to, let's go have some fun and race motorcycles and do what we can do and do the best we can.
Good answer, Reese?
Solid. I got absolutely no arguments, man. Super rad.
Well, we won't keep talking your ear off, Rick. We already went a little past the time, but I appreciate you talking with us.
I appreciate the opportunity, guys. Thank you very much.
Totally.
We're all in this together, so we just got to put our head down and get rolling and be ready to go when the gates drop, right?
110%. So before I let you go, any last words of wisdom, or do you want to throw out any plugs?
Oh gosh, I got to thank Shannon again. She's been my rock, my wife, and or was that my girlfriend? No, my wife, Shannon. Yes, I'm kidding. So, no wisdom here, Justin. Just we're all in this together. We don't have time to be a separated country. Let's just get it done. Let's do what we have to do, and sort of trust the process. It's very frustrating, and I hate it too. But I mean, we're let's just get ready to race. And then when we do get ready to race, guys, let's come back under control and not go bonsai the first moto out, right?
Oh, that's everyone's fear right now. Is the first race back might be a little sketchy.
Yeah. Cool. So we have new catch fencing up, but I don't want anybody to go through it yet. Okay, let's just look at it for now.
Okay. Good plan. And guys, if you want to check out Thursday Night Motocross, what is it? Just at Thursday Night Motocross on Instagram, and obviously Thursday Night Motocross on Facebook, correct?
Yes. And the website will have schedule updates as soon as we get them. So.
ThursdayNightMotocross.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, once again, I appreciate the time. I hope you have a good night, sir. And I look forward to the time where we can actually see you back out at the track.
Okay. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Reese. Okay.
See you, Rick.
Take care. Bye.
Always fun catching up with Rick. It is a little weird because Thursday Night Motocross is supposed to be open right now. But we have to just sit around and wait, and nothing we can do.
Hey, man, I'll tell you this, coming from, like, the road race side, I beat that drum, but, like, the guys that are dealing with PIR and stuff, their hands are tied. Like, even if they wanted to run, you know what I mean? Like, they got a lot, there's a lot to that whole deal, running events at that city park that comes into play, right?
Would you like an autographed T-shirt?
No, I want a number plate.
You want a
Front
number plate? Do you want like a pair of pants too?
No,
or like how weird are we getting
circa
here?
2014, 15, like the black, blue, and green, like Thursday Night Motocross graphic kit, front number plate, signed. Yeah, I want it.
You're almost making us weird at this point.
Dude, I'm just telling the guys do a good job, man.
Yeah, are you gonna come into the video screen here? Like,
No, man.
You're not even in the
blowing me
screen.
out. Like we're good, man. I'm good where I'm at.
Okay.
No, the Thursday Night Moto is rad. I just need.
I've noticed. The part I didn't bring up is actually that was the first track that I raced at as well.
Really?
Yes.
No shit. Well, you're making this up. Really? Longview, like all the places your dad rode, like really that's your first race?
Thursday Night Motocross was my first race, and I believe that was also the first time Mark Bunker had ever been to PIR as well.
No way.
I don't think it was his first race, but the first time I think he'd been there. If I got my history right,
he probably kicked your ass.
pitted next. Oh, he lapped me.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But I had just been a month off of moving up from an XR80
To a
RM80, and so I was a trail rider.
true beginner.
Like
Hell
I
yeah.
didn't know how to do this whole jumping thing. My RM80 scared me, and so I was new, and I went out there like, this is scary, but I'm doing it. And I just went out and did not go well. And I remember Bunker lapped me, and he was pitted right next to us. Super cool people, and chatted about them. And I was like, why is he so much faster? And to this day, we grew up racing together. I still have never beat him.
Well, and he's got a couple of Loretta championships behind his name. You're probably never going to beat him, Justin. I love you, man, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you clean him out in like the first or second corner.
All right, I'll race him on pit bikes.
Maybe. But I'll bet you... I'll bet you money that I can't afford right now you'll never beat him at Woodland. That's for damn sure.
Why would I make that bet?
Respectable, dude.
Dude, I have so many old school photos of him out at Woodland. No. I'm not making that bet.
Dude, well, and I've seen him ride in the last, like, 2 years, man. Like, just play riding a couple motos here and there. Like, the dude still got it. He's quick. He's the only guy I've seen in the 30 AB class at Woodland consistently, like, make Gilcrease and those guys, like, be like, well, I did the best I could. You know what I mean? Like, it's impressive. He's got
Bunker
it.
definitely knows how to ride Woodland. But, man, there's no tracks running right now, and it's getting depressing. And I don't know what's going to happen because, so I know for the state of Washington, we're waiting until May 5th, right?
Yep.
But that doesn't mean they're going to open everything back up. There's a good chance that it could just become... Would you come into the video frame a little bit?
I'm just, man.
Reese, why are you hiding? So, try not to touch the mic too much, though. It sounds like...
Crunchy potato chips?
Yes, actually. It doesn't mean if they stick to that date that we are just going to go back to racing, riding, living. There's probably, even if they stick to that date, they're going to probably offer a tiered program where 1 month of this, another month of this. There's a good chance we don't get back to normal events until middle of summer.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know if you've watched Justin, but like I've been following like Glenn Helen's page on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, just because of the Two Stroke National, the Glenn Helen, the W World Vet Championships, the 24 hours of Glenn Helen. Like they guys have like 4 or 5 big events a year that are really rad. That are, I don't want to say borderline of an amateur national. They don't compete with Loretta's or Mammoth, but they're, as far as vet riding and stuff goes, like they're right there as far as cool events that are big, that like lots of support, lots of pros show up to. big payouts, and all that stuff that was reposted, that they're like tentative dates, they had posted dates. Hey guys, we're like a month and a half out, or which would have been this month. Everything's been postponed to be announced. Hey guys, we're gonna run them at some point this year, but we don't know when. That's Glen Helen. That's a big deal. That's like an OG. You know what I mean? That's like Washougal. I mean, that's a big track, right? So if those guys don't have if they comfortably can't post it out there, like, it doesn't bode well for us or any other track, right?
Well, no. I mean, they have to follow the same rules as everybody else, where big track, little track, doesn't matter. Social distancing rules that are in place applies to everyone and to companies 10, 20, 30 times bigger than a dirt bike track, you know?
Hey, bro.
So,
6 feet, dog. 6 feet. I'm just saying.
I will slap you right now. I'll slap you
On camera?
On camera.
People would love it. Doug's probably tipping money right now. No, I would say hopefully it goes, but I think what you're saying is probably, I think we're going to get practices or the tracks that, thanks, Matt. That's awesome. I think practice days, limited practice, 50 people or whatever the number that they put on it, the governing bodies to be, is going to open up well before racing does. I think, because this has already been postponed, a month past what everybody thought, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, we're just gonna wait and see. So we don't need to keep talking about it though, because it's gonna start getting depressing.
I know.
We'll talk about fun stuff, dirt bikes and
Pit bikes.
Ooh, yeah, let's talk about pit bikes. We're about to our time limit though, so we're gonna shut this thing down. We will be back with the after show, and then we can talk to everybody about how I scratched your forks in your 450.
Super sick.
So, you guys all have a good night. We appreciate you listening to Moto Monday number 111. It is good to be back, Reese. Thank you. It's good to have it back. Moto Monday is back, and we're still having technical difficulties, but we've had them since the beginning. So, it's all part of the show.
Comes with the territory. We're trying to clean it up a little bit, right? Just make it better.
I swear at this point you're being late on purpose. I'm telling you.
It's a part of the ambiance, dude.
Enough with the ambiance. Enough with this ambiance talk. There's no longer ambiance needed here. You can just show up on time.
I made it on time. I was here well early for 110, the important one, and I had to have one more, for just nostalgia's sake.
Is it worked out of your system now?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay, we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to shut this down, folks. We'll be back in a few minutes with the after show. You can find that over on my personal Facebook page. All of you on YouTube, I'm sorry we don't stream the after show there because I don't want kicked off YouTube. I've already been booted from Facebook, but they're slightly more tolerant. So you guys take care. This has been Moto Monday number 111 presented by 110 Clothing, and we are out of here.